We begin on the southern border, where the number of illegal immigrants caught by Border Patrol continues to go up. Border Patrol says it caught more than 109,000 illegal immigrants in April alone. The number of family units apprehended is up 400% over last year. Full Measure special correspondent Lara Logan takes us on a trip with Border Patrol by land and by water for a first-hand account without the hype.
Those people that are trying to avoid apprehensions, at many times they've had problems with either the Border Patrol or other law enforcement agencies.
So people with criminal records?
It's possible, yes.
We saw some of the resources it takes to track down those who don't want to get caught. Agents plunged into the dense brush behind a specially trained dog who followed the scent. It was thick with thorns and infested with ticks, hot and humid. And at times, the dog lost the scent, but not for long.
You could really tell when the dog picked up the scent because she sped up and she found them hiding here.
The group, barely visible through the bushes, was huddled together, possibly trying to avoid the helicopter. The agents' eyes in the sky. They were handcuffed, marched out, then processed and searched at the side of the road.
This right here, what happens, it happens day in, day out, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Day and night, 7 days a week.
Correct.
Here in the Rio Grande Valley, Border Patrol apprehends on average 1,000 people every day. Many of them on this dirt road that leads right to the border.
This is a father and daughter, right here.
Unlike the group you just saw, these people give themselves up. Many claim asylum and are given court dates several years down the road. Few are approved.
And they're exposing, what's commonly referred to as a loophole in the system. So we don't have enough capacity. We can only detain them for so many days.
They're coming in record numbers, one group after another. We saw 4 in less than an hour.
It feels like they just keep coming. Every time we turn around, there's another one.
What you see right now is a common occurrence here.
Every agent processing people is one less agent to secure the border.
There's areas that are not being guarded, if you will, due to the amount of resources it's taken just to accommodate these people.
So does that worry you?
It worries everybody.
What you don't see among these groups are the smugglers and cartels who sent these people here. People like this tiny boy, alone, with just his aunt's name and U.S. cell number on the inside of his shirt.
Does he know where his aunt is?
In the States, but not sure where.
For every person Border Patrol stops, they say many more are getting through. They're already overwhelmed. What worries them now is being overrun. Many people don't realize that the southern border with Mexico is not all government land and checkpoints. In the Rio Grande Valley in Texas, the entire border is not even on land. It's in the water. 2 boat crews, 52 miles of river, and a war without end. Mexican cartels on one side, Border Patrol on the other, searching for migrants making a quick dash across the Rio Grande.
A small group will be 4 to 5. A big group will be 5 or 6 rafts of 20 each.
It's not a question of if for Vessel Commander Deborah Villarreal, it's when and how many.
Right now, it's probably worst I've ever seen, and I've been in 21 years.
All along the river's twists and turns, the eyes of the cartels are watching and waiting. The agents said they often see their scouts posted along the riverbank. They're also picked up by helicopters, cameras, and surveillance blimps.
So you want people to know you have all the surveillance so they don't try to cross?
Yes.
How's that working out?
But they still try. They still try to cross.
A lot.
Every day, every time.
It's a 30-second ride to America if they make it, with a big price tag. And unlike the U.S., the Mexican side of the border is secure. The cartels control it all. The agents pointed out well-worn landing sites carved out of mud and reeds, and took us to one they said is used often. Looking around, you have a sense of all the people that have come through here, fragments of their journey and the lives they've left behind.
This is only one little spot that they cross, so imagine thousands of people coming through here and all the corners are on the river.
Agent LeBron took us down the path they take from here, their path to America. Here they can walk or wait for Border Patrol and give themselves up, unless they run. Suddenly, rafts were spotted crossing back up the river.
Go, 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 go.
The race was on. Agents roared up the Rio Grande to stop them, topping 50 miles an hour. Their arrival interrupted the smugglers, still in sight on the Mexican side, carrying a raft along the shore. It was interesting to watch as they heckled the border agents from the safety of their home turf.
Like 20 feet up here from that boat.
Interrupted, but still enough time to get 2 rafts across with their cargo. 15 migrants who'd reached the U.S. side and were quickly apprehended by other agents on horseback.
It's kind of a win for them, right?
They crossed, smugglers got back, no problem. We didn't get their raft, we didn't get any smugglers, and they crossed their cargo.
They won.
Basically.
It's not even rush hour for the agents on the Rio Grande. They said that would start when the sun goes down.
Quite a trip you had. I mean, you live in Texas, and you've been on the border many times. Was there something you found out that was new to you when you just went there seeking out what was going on?
Well, you know, just about everything was new, which is a little bit shocking. I mean, you know, as I do, right? You work on a big story. Usually you're struggling to find aspects of that story that haven't been covered by somebody else already, something new. The first thing you ask is, why would anyone die crossing the desert when you can come to Juarez and cross into, I mean, for all these people who are giving themselves up at the border, right, who are coming to seek asylum and who are finding the nearest Border Patrol agent? And the answer, of course, is very simple. The cartels decide where you cross. The people don't decide where they cross. The cartels control absolutely every inch of ground on the Mexican side of the border.
Well, I think that's one of the aspects when you mentioned an underreported or undercovered part of the border story is how U.S. policy inadvertently allows the exploitation and creates a market for the cartels to exploit innocent people who so desperately want to come here.
Oh, enables them. And now think about it this way, as it was explained to us by a number of people, right? So it used to be that these human smuggling networks, once they got people onto U.S. soil, they then had to transport them to the different areas of the country where they go into forced labor or into massage parlors or into the sex trade or whatever it is, right? Now, guess who's doing that for them? The federal government.
One of the other hard parts is when you have people coming in, even if you were to conduct DNA tests, which some have suggested could be done to identify whether kids are related, you still don't know the background of the people who are coming, if they are who they say they are, even if related to other people coming across the border, there's some problem there between them. You know so little about them. The notion that this due diligence doesn't need to be done flies in the face of the notion that we have a right to protect our border and to know who's come into the country.
Well, the issue, you know, as it was put to me by Homeland Security Investigations, which is sort of the next arm, right? You start at the border with Border Patrol, whose job is to stop people, to apprehend people. Then you have Customs, that's sort of the next layer, figuring out who people are and what they, you know, what people are bringing in, really, not who they are. And then the next layer is Homeland Security Investigations and law enforcement, trying to figure out who's driving it, what does it all mean, who are you really dealing with? And by the way, you know, the great fallacy of the border is that this is the Texas problem, or an Arizona problem, or a New Mexico problem, right? I mean, isn't that like a quaint idea that we can sit in other parts of the country and look down on those people at the border and say, you know, all the things that are said about them, and think that this doesn't affect anyone else in the rest of the country? Where do you buy narcotics on the streets of the United States? Can you think of a town or a city or anywhere in this country where you can't buy illegal drugs?
Well-established pipelines everywhere.
That's it.
Lara, listen, it was wonderful to be able to feature your reporting on our program. We look forward to seeing more of that in the future.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for, I mean, this is a great program. People love it. Everywhere I go, people ask me about you in this program.
Thanks a lot.